Welcome back to Heart, where today we conclude our conversation with Jesse Eisenberg. In this third installment, Jesse opens up about the universal struggles actors face, from self-doubt to the ever-present pressure to succeed in an industry that can feel as unpredictable as a lottery. Jesse shares his personal experiences, revealing how the insecurities of aspiring actors echo even in the careers of seasoned professionals. If you've ever wondered about the behind-the-scenes struggles of actors, or if you're searching for inspiration in your own creative pursuits, this episode is a must-listen. Now, before you listen, please be sure to support the podcast with a 5-star rating and a review.
And Jesse, the vast majority of our listeners, we run a school, are actors, and now they're not at the level that you're at, right? They're at the level where they're trying to, break in and get their first co-star on TV, or they have their co-stars, they're trying to up level and get their first guest star. And right. From what I hear in my conversations with them is that, the journey's tough and the self-doubting is very natural. And there's always thoughts of should I really be doing this? I just need to get my first co-star and then it'll be good. And I won't have these, doubts or this anxiety. But then they get their first co-star. And then, after their fifth co-star, they're like, am I ever going to get a guest star? And should I even be doing this? I'm curious, after you made it and you became a successful working actor, do you ever still doubt your career choices? Do you ever have maybe during a dry spell, you ever think why am I even doing this? Am I ever going to work again? Does that still creep in?
Oh, I say that every month. Yeah. Because there's always room to go, you know what I mean? There's always you could always be, I guess, busier. And so, yes, no, I have that all the time. I maybe a little bit different than what you're describing, but it's the same exact feeling, but I'm probably just using different words. The first movie I made came out last year and was not very well received. And I thought I'll never be able to make another movie. And also my acting career is over because no one will want to work with me. And then I similarly, that same year, did this movie that I worked on for years where I was I played a bodybuilder who joins this male cult. And I thought that movie was going to be the greatest thing for me because I worked on it so much. I'd, been to the damn gym for years and just working on this thing and thinking about the character. I'm going over various voices to use for the character. And that movie barely came out. And so I thought, okay, so no one will offer me an interesting part like that anymore. And again, it's not exactly the same thing as saying co-star, guest star, but it's the exact same feeling, which is oh yeah, I see. I will never move up to basically getting these really interesting roles. And, unlike the situation you described where they've done 5 co-stars and want the guest star, for me, I feel my situation is even worse because everybody will know that I had the interesting part, but it didn't work out. And so I seem like a failure. So I would describe the feeling you're saying, but with this added thing of feeling like a failure, like a public failure. You know what I mean? And so, yes, I have that feeling too. I tell my friend all the time, I go to the library where I write my scripts and stuff. And I sit there next to my friend Jim and I just, I tell him at least once a month, my acting career is over. This movie, Now You See Me, I'm about to go do it. I'm so fortunate that it's happening because it's a big Hollywood movie. Thank God. I can be in some of those things because those allow you to be, I like the movie of it in and of itself, but those also movies allow you to be in smaller things because producers of smaller movies think your name associated with a big budget movie will help our small movie get made. So all that stuff is helpful, of course. But before that movie, I had nothing on the horizon, especially nothing big like that. So no. And and for me, I feel I've reached the top in certain ways. I got nominated for an Academy Award for acting. So feels to me, if I'm not in something good or popular, then I'm considered a failure. So it has that feeling. This is just the nature of being in the arts in general, I think. If you have to from one job to another, there's no reason you should ever feel secure. There's no rational reason to feel secure. So I could understand what you're talking about, the feeling of instability and insecurity. It often feels like getting a job is like winning the lottery. It feels like you have to win the lottery 10,000 times. It's so weird also because now I'm casting movies because I'm casting my next movie that I'm directing. and I got a list of like 50 names of great actors. And I'm like, oh my God, all these people are phenomenal. And yet I'm not going to cast 49 of them. Not that they would want to be in my movie even. I don't mean to I don't mean to say they would all want to be in my movie. What I'm saying is though, like, even for these 50 very successful actors, there's only so many parts that can go around. And these people are far more successful than me even. So, yeah, it's a completely unnerving. It's unstable at every level. And as my friend says, if you want to have a career in the arts, you just have to keep pursuing things because you never know when something good is going to happen. And the goal is not to necessarily get that guest star or the Oscar nomination. The goal is to just try to keep working because it's so unstable. If you can maintain any kind of semblance of a career in the arts, that's the success. That's the win.
Hey, it's Brian. I'm dropping in on an important announcement. What you need to know is you have more control over your career than you think. The thing standing between you and the career you want is your connections. And that's where One-on-One Next Level comes in. If you are not a member yet, you can apply to join at oneononenextlevel.com. Press pause and do that now. If you are already a member and you are ready to get back on track, we want to invite you to book a strategy session with us led by myself personally. We will help you prioritize which classes make the most sense given your career goals. You can find these under the Resource Hub in your account portal. We can't wait to hear your success story.
So Jesse, this happened in an acting class. A teacher gave an actor she said, work on at our studio. And she gave him a scene to prepare, and he said, "Listen, I'm not going to do this. I'm not gay." And it was a part of a gay role. And she said, "I don't understand." He said, "I'm not going to do this. I'm not." And she said, "You're making a mistake, but that's your choice." What I'm getting at is when you've been so clear with being able to share with you, like the insecurity of acting, but when you were up for the role of Lex Luthor, and you knew, hey, this isn't me, but I'm gonna like dive into this thing, and you probably knew before you even accepted the role that there's gonna be a lot. And what's great is you don't watch any of your movies, which is really interesting. I'd like you to elaborate on that. But like Lex Luthor, you're asking for trouble by accepting a role that is not exactly. Everybody has their perception of how, because there's been so many Lex Luthors or in their heads by reading the comic book, like how they perceive Lex Luthor to be. You made it your own. I love the way you did it, but you probably knew, hey, if I'm going to accept this role, there's going to be a lot of criticism about this. Did you feel that way, or did you have any feelings about that's such a popular role?
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware that like these movies are really popular and beloved by.
But before you even made it, I mean, like you know what I mean. There's so many fans of like Superman who have already in their head the way Lex Luthor should be.
Right, exactly. No, I mean, for me, I'm just as worried about doing a good job in that than I am in doing like a play. I don't think of those things as any different. I think, okay, what is the role? How can I make it feel like it fits me? And then make it something interesting that I would want to perform in. I don't really think of like the end product. I don't know why. It just, there's no way to engineer how people are going to feel about you in a year and a half. And I'm not really keyed into that world. I'm not like, reading reviews of myself, or like engaging with people who don't like me. Somebody, I guess, discovered my email address and sent me a death threat. But otherwise, I'm a little like insulated from how people think of me. My life is in like the New York art scene where no one is talking about that stuff. No one is, people take me seriously because they know me in the New York art scene. I work off Broadway mostly. So it's not like, when you get to dip your toe as an actor into those big things, it's like everybody thinks you won the lottery. No one thinks like, oh no, are you going to be criticized? No, every person in the entertainment industry thinks, wow, you won the lottery. Fantastic. You get to do the same acting you're doing in a play, but they pay you a lot more money and your face is on Diet Pepper cans, Dr. Pepper cans, around the world. And like, my God, you just won the lottery. Like and to me, that's how I felt. I know people didn't like me in it, but like, that's not anything I can control. I assume people don't like me in my own personal life too. I don't know. I try to be nice to people in the same way I try to act well and some people just are not going to like you. I don't really care. Also, I was not like aware of the comic books and stuff, so like I was not aware. It was not like something I felt like I was stepping into this thing that I was like, really embedded in. It's not like I was playing the singer of my favorite band or something where I felt like this need to like, I know the history. I didn't really know the history well, but it was not my job to. My job was to basically, there was a script that was written that I thought was wonderful and a director that had a real specific vision for it. And I felt like I got to do a good acting job. But, you can't foresee how people will perceive you. And I really don't care that much. I guess I feel sad if I ruin somebody's good experience that they were wanting to have, I guess, in some vague way. But there's nothing I could do about somebody not liking me.
Nobody does special programs like One-on-One Next Level. It's where we really help actors shine.
I'm Emilio. I signed with my Southeast agent right after the Atlanta trip, and now I'm auditioning several times every month. And I almost didn't do the Atlanta trip because I thought it was just another cash grab. I can tell you from experience that it's not. That's not how One-on-One Next Level rolls. And here we are 6 months later, and I already booked my first job with my Atlanta agent.
I'm Rebecca, and the Bridge program demystified the industry for me. It gave me the platform to get off book in under 10 minutes. I met 60 new artists that are now all a part of my community, and I even signed with a manager. I have never walked away from a program so confident in my abilities. I'm so grateful for One-on-One Next Level.
My name is Capenna, and I can finally call myself a working actor after participating in the LA Super Showcase. I had just moved to LA and I felt stuck. I came across the LA Super Showcase, and let me tell you, it was a life-changing experience. I signed with an agent, and since then, I've been auditioning for series regulars and booked my first TV job. I finally feel like I made it to the next level, thanks to One-on-One Next Level.
In the next 12 months, One-on-One Next Level will host 27 special programs bringing you unmatched exclusive access to industry connections. Special programs aren't just a one-and-done class. Instead, they're designed to accomplish in a weekend what it takes most actors months, even years to do. So whether you want to get repped in a smaller market like Atlanta, bypass casting directors and connect directly with TV showrunners and decision makers, or spend a weekend meeting a bunch of musical theater industry professionals in New York City, you have to become a member to be eligible to sign up for our special programs. To apply, go to www.oneononenextlevel.com. We can't wait to hear your success story.
Too many people worry about, like how should what do they want from me? How should I be? And I think the moment you do that, Jesse, it's over.
Yes. I mean, I've seen actors who I can see are kind of engineering their performance to be likable or something. And you could see them struggling to kind of soullessly make faces that they think the camera would like. And it just never, ever works. Like that just doesn't work as a performance style. I've never seen it work, at least. The thing that works is, being kind of comfortable with yourself, feeling what it is that you're feeling and projecting it into this character. Yeah, to me, that's the only thing I could do. I think for a lot of people, they do that correctly and still don't get parts. And so then they start worrying and say, they try doing the other thing. Well, let me be over the top here. And so, I don't know. I feel bad for them because I totally get it, because that's exactly what I would do. If I didn't get parts as me playing the thing the way I would want to do, I would go over the top and be broad and try to, yeah, but you're stuck. I mean, it's a tough industry in that regards. But if there was any advice to give, it would really just be, yes, stick to what feels right to you. Stick what feels like authentic to you. And at some point it will work. And then if I had any other pieces of advice would be like, especially now, because I grew up without, YouTube and stuff like that, is to really just try to work on your own projects when you're not cast on a major network show. You know what I mean? Like use that downtime to make stuff, because it will keep you at least busy. I mean, yeah, I have friends who make short films all the time, and a lot of them are not good short films, but those people have been practicing and are ready for it, when something good comes along. And so that would be, I guess, another piece of advice. I remember just desperate to get a camera. When I was 17, I wrote this movie script, and I was desperate to rent this camera. It was like the Sony PDX 1000 or something like that. And I was desperate to rent it for a week to shoot this little thing I had an idea for, and I couldn't. And like, so now, I would do that now. And that's another thing that I envy younger people for, having the ability to do that. So that's also really helpful. Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. What
personality. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's been an amazing experience talking to you in and of itself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Your questions are so sweet and sensitive. Thank you.
when we were talking about you, just kind of doing a little bit of research on you, like Mark was saying, like he's a real Renaissance man. Like that's kind of like how we would describe you.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Yeah, or a dilettante.
Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't done it yet, please support Heart to Heart with a 5-star rating and a review.